considerations do have to be made to the and I'll make those considerations for the Asian people who do consume culture and consume content. Um, if you know the words of Charleston White did offend you, I will say I'm glad this event definitely didn't happen. Now I am in true belief that he wouldn't be coming to the event to say he doesn't like Asian people, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? You know, if it would be considered hate speech if you're just blanketly saying you don't like a race. Now, I'm not here also to sit and analyze because there's going to be some defenders of Charleston White or some people who just have no horse in the race to say, well, he says stuff about black people all the time. Why doesn't this not happen? And by the way, I will say this. I believe that if Charleston didn't say that, this event happens. So I don't care who is coming. If he doesn't say this about Asian people, I believe 100% the event happens, right? But again, you know, there's a whole bill passed to protect the Asian people, and you have to understand what comes with that. So they forced the removal of him, and then afterwards we both agreed that the event is tainted. Like, you know, I didn't have anything for the event anyway. Really, like, you know, I was going to host. My only part of it was going to host because at first it was going to be a variety show with a bunch of creators. And I realized, like, well, Charleston's team literally told me that they have a hour-long set. So I said, wait, if you have an hour-long set, okay, this could work in just a comedy show. I'm going to get a special guest and you, and we're going to have about a 2 to 3 hour show. You do, like, I'll be hosting them. In the meanwhile, we also do a meet and greet. And what else? And to be honest, which is also the part that might, I don't know, if you're trying to think about it logistically, fuck people up. No matter how horrible people say Charleston White is, after a day of being on sale, the first show is 70% sold out. So there's going to be 2 shows, actually. So there's going to be an early show and a late show. And after the first day, the first show was 70% sold out. So there was clearly people definitely trying to see it. Now, have I thought about were they trying to see him or just maybe they're just coming because they're chatting? I don't know, bro. But again, I'm not here upset or saying that this isn't the right decision. I think that Charleston White coming to New York City, I think he's later even expressed that he don't like New York at all. Well, he said that before, but he said he'd rather not do the show here. So it is what it is. You get what I mean? So, and I see some of y'all typing in chat. It's not my job to fucking police like, yo, well, he said this about black women or black men and nobody cares. The point that we should all take from this is that we see this all the time. The Asian conglomerate, they do have some influence and shit. And when the person, I don't want to put their name out, the person at Live Nation is telling my assistant, like, yo, we're getting calls from politicians. I mean, it's grand opening, grand closing. I'm sorry. You get what I mean? And they're like, yo, he just can't perform. Right? The event or Live Nation was like, well, you got down to take him off? And we're like, yeah. They're like, well, do you want to still keep the show? No, just cancel the whole thing. Okay. So yeah. Somebody said I am protecting Charleston. I'm not protecting Charleston White. First of all, I'm glad you guys say that. Like, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but I'll agree with a lot of nobody says. You get what I mean? So this is not a point of trying to agree or trying to like Charles. I don't agree with Charleston White dissing Mama Duck. I don't agree with Charleston White dissing King Von. I don't agree with Charleston White doing a lot of things. That's been my position. I've never changed my position. I never said I agree with none of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't don't take affiliation or association means you agree with everybody. like, if you think I got to sit up here and defend my position about do I agree with all of Charleston White? Charleston White dissed me. I didn't agree with that neither. Listen, I look at Charleston White for what I believe he is online, a character. Does he spew hateful shit? Absolutely. Does he sometimes spew things that people could resonate with? Yeah. Is it on every person to make up your mind and figure out if you want to either entertain him or not? Yes. Do you need academics to tell you what he agrees with him on and what he not? I say it all the time, but I'm not the person here to tell you guys whether to consume his content or not. Some people look at him just like how they look at, unfortunately, or let me not say unfortunately, because I really don't give a fuck about this. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not standing with no motherfucker, but I'm not also campaigning to hate. I've seen a few people who are Asian hit me and say, yo, are you rocking with this? Motherfucker, I'm not rocking with nothing what the nigga says, but I'm also not campaigning against the nigga. So if y'all looking for me to campaign against him, y'all won't see that. You get what I mean? But if y'all looking at me to say I agree with anything he says or all the things, if I do agree with some shit, I say it. A lot of shit he say about gangster rappers, I agree with it. Him dissing dead people, nah. Him saying this about Asian people, absolutely not. It is what it is. You get what I mean? And here's the thing. That's the same with everybody else. That's the same with anybody else that's on my platform or has ever been on my platform. Do I agree with everything that Hassan Campbell's ever said? No. Do I agree with everything that Wack 100 has ever said? No. Do I agree with everything that 6ix9ine has said? No. None of them. If you don't hear me say it and I'm not standing behind it, don't blanketly assume that I agree with it. And again, I'm not sure. Well, he probably has some history of saying some stuff against Asian people, but if there's nothing that I didn't think that the nigga was going to show up to Gramercy Theater and do anti-Asian content, period. But I do know when he gets upset at one particular person, and from what I understand, he was beefing with one particular person, he starts speaking in generalities, which is, by the way, very harmful. Shit, I've learned that myself because I was talking about one broke, dusty rapper, and I said pioneers, and then people were upset. So I understand what happens when you speak in generalities when you're upset at one particular person. Somebody said I'm folding like crazy. Yeah, well, I mean, you can say whatever you want. Somebody said, if the show wasn't canceled, do I think something would have went down? Are you talking about violence? No, I don't think anything violent would have went down. I don't think violence would have went down. Like, I guess, in hindsight, I've thought, well, how sure are you that the content that he was going to put out wasn't going to be completely hateful that would have like caused other problems? But what that has kind of made me think like, okay, well, you should probably check out his stand-up first, right? Because he is torrid, he is giving jokes, people seem to enjoy it, but you want to make sure that, especially in the place you are now, like, for example, I kid you not, if this show is in Charlotte, if this show is anywhere down south, it's going on, happening, right? This is New York City. I keep telling you, New York City is just really different. And of course, because of that, yeah, things are going to be a little bit different, of course. Somebody said, I folded like a deck of cards. I didn't do anything. How do I fold? The venue did not want to have my guest. It's very clear. The guest of my show that was a paid performer, the venue tells me, hey, we're really unsure about this guy, and we're strongly advising you to remove it because we're getting a lot of backlash right now. If that's what's called folding, if I got a spot that I'm renting you and you say you're gonna bring in, I don't know, Hitler, and I say, nigga, Hitler ain't coming in here. Now I'm making extreme like correlation, but if I say that, Okay, nigga, like it's either you gonna try to move around or I could just cancel your whole shit. It's my shit. Like that's just what it is. You feel me? Yeah, nah, y'all trolling. So, um, if this show is supposed to happen, it would probably happen down south. By the way, he did a show in Jersey not too long ago. He did a show at the Showboat, which is a casino. He did a show at the Showboat Casino in Atlantic City. It was a sold out show, 700 to 800 people. He was the headliner. There was some other local acts on it, and nobody said anything. Was he talking crazy then? He always talks crazy, but I don't think he particularly said anything. And also, you know what I mean? Again, I'm not trying to like diminish anything about the Asian plight, but like you could say anything about niggas, right? Like you could say the most anything about black people, and it's like, all right, fuck it. Yeah, I think it's like how Kanye felt it. Like, nigga, don't mention those people. And I think with Charleston, he mentioned a group of protected people. That's how it goes.